Ever wondered why some products are unusually cheap in your country? Well, there's a term for it in the world of international trade: dumping. It's a scenario where manufacturers export a product to another country at a price lower than the normal price. The objective: to drive out competition and eventually establish a monopoly. Consider a real-life example. In the early 90s, the United States accused Japan of dumping miniature photo albums. Japan was selling these albums in the US market at a price significantly lower than in their domestic market. The intention was clear: to undercut and oust American manufacturers from the market. Dumping might initially seem like a win-win situation for consumers in the importing country. After all, who doesn't like cheap goods? But the long-term effects can be detrimental. It can lead to domestic industries going out of business, resulting in job losses and economic instability. Think about the case of South Africa in the late 2000s. The domestic poultry industry was hit hard when Brazil began dumping chicken on the South African market. The South African poultry industry struggled to compete with the low prices, leading to significant job losses and economic instability in the sector. However, dumping is not always prohibited. It becomes a concern only when it causes material injury to a domestic industry in the importing country. Trade treaties often include mechanisms to address dumping, such as countervailing duty penalties and anti-dumping statutes. Take the case of China and the United States in the early 2000s. The US accused China of dumping steel products, causing harm to the domestic steel industry. In response, the US imposed countervailing duties on Chinese steel products to offset the damage caused by the dumping. The World Trade Organization's anti-dumping agreement allows governments to take action against dumping if it causes injury to the domestic industry. The agreement provides methods to calculate the normal value of a product and specifies procedures for initiating anti-dumping investigations. Anti-dumping measures must expire after 5 years unless a review shows that ending the measure would lead to injury. In summary, the concept of dumping revolves around manufacturers exporting a product to another country at a price lower than the normal price, with an intention to drive out competition and create a monopoly. While it might seem like a boon for consumers in the short term, the long-term effects can be harmful to the domestic industry. Trade treaties and organizations like the World Trade Organization have measures in place to counteract the effects of dumping. Remember, when it comes to international trade, nothing is as simple as it seems. Behind the price tag of that cheap product, there might be a complex web of economic strategies and international relations at play.